Welcome to the channel. If you enjoy tech insights and helpful tips, please subscribe. Let's begin.
Discovering your paint has frozen can be a frustrating moment, often leading to the assumption that it's completely ruined. However, with the right approach, you might be able to salvage and successfully use that paint, especially if it's a latex or water-based product, which is typically more prone to damage from freezing than oil-based paints. The critical first step is gentle thawing. Never attempt to accelerate the thawing process using direct heat sources like a space heater, a microwave, or even placing the can directly over a stove burner. Rapid heating can cause irreversible damage to the paint's chemical composition, leading to significant changes in its texture, adhesion properties, and overall performance. Instead, bring the frozen paint can indoors and allow it to thaw slowly and naturally at room temperature. This process can take anywhere from several hours to a full day or even longer, depending on the volume of paint and how thoroughly it was frozen. Patience is paramount during this stage. Once the paint has completely thawed, it's time for a thorough inspection. Open the can and stir the paint very slowly and carefully using a paint stirrer. Do not use a power drill mixer immediately, as this can introduce too much air or further break down compromised solids. As you stir, pay close attention to the paint's consistency. You're looking for a smooth, homogeneous mixture. Are there any lumps, clumps, or gritty particles that refuse to mix back into the solution? Does it look like cottage cheese? Or is there a clear separation of solids and liquids that won't reintegrate, even after extensive stirring? If the paint appears smooth and well-mixed, resembling its original consistency, it's a good sign. However, if it remains lumpy, grainy, or has an unmixable separation, it's likely compromised beyond repair, and using it could lead to a very poor finish. Even if it looks good after stirring, a test patch is absolutely essential before committing to your main project. Apply a small amount of the thawed and stirred paint to a scrap piece of wood, cardboard, or an inconspicuous area of your project surface. Let it dry completely and observe its characteristics. Does it adhere well? Is the color consistent with what you expect? Does it provide adequate coverage? Are there any visible streaks, blotches, or textural imperfections? Frozen paint, even if it appears to thaw well, can sometimes experience subtle changes that affect its workability, drying time, or final appearance. Pigments might separate permanently, binders could be damaged, leading to reduced adhesion, or the paint might become overly thick or thin. If the test patch dries smoothly, adheres properly, and the color is correct, you can likely proceed with your project. However, if the paint shows any signs of poor adhesion, inconsistent color, a gritty texture, or simply doesn't apply smoothly, it's best to discard it and invest in a fresh can. While it's tempting to save money, using compromised paint can lead to disappointing results, requiring more time, effort, and ultimately more expense to fix. To prevent future freezing incidents, always store paint in a climate-controlled area, away from extreme temperatures. Garages and sheds can often drop below freezing in winter or get excessively hot in summer, making basements, utility closets, or heated storage units much better options. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more helpful DIY tips.